want to welcome everybody to the April 23rd, 2026 Board of Trustees of the City University Construction Fund. I call the meeting of the City University Construction Fund to order, noting the presence of a quorum. We will take up the following items for approval. Item 1 is the approval of the minutes of the February 26, 2026 meeting of the Fund, number 2471. I move the approval of item 1. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. Item 2 is a resolution to authorize mechanical upgrades for Coleman Hall at Lehman College, number 2472. I now call on Executive Director Mohammed Atalia to provide further background on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Carmen Hall Mechanical Upgrades project will involve removal of the existing air handling units as well as the demolition of ceilings, pneumatic control systems, ductwork, and associated duct insulation in order to prepare the facility for the installation of a modern variable air volume air conditioning system. The necessary upgrades would bring the system at Carmen Hall into a state of good repair and will significantly improve indoor environmental quality and create a modernized, reliable, and efficient building environment for the students, faculty, and staff who work and learn in Carmen Hall. Through this investment, the project is expected to reduce the overall deferred maintenance backlog from roughly $127 million to $65 million. This project will proceed in a phased approach in order to maintain the continuity of the college teaching and learning operation in this building. Construction is anticipated to commence in May 2026 and be substantially completed by December 2027. The program management agreement requires DASNY to comply with and report on CUNY, MWBE, and SDVOB goals. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I move the approval of item 2. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussions or questions?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, please, Senator.
You talk about the mechanical upgrades. What kind of HVAC, et cetera, whatever it would be included, is this going to be more efficient, more fuel efficient? Is it going to meet some of the requirements for upgrading and reducing our reliance on fossil fuel, et cetera? And the second part of the question, is it possible to retrofit rather than install new mechanical equipment?
Thank you, Senator, for the question. Our team review, in terms of the second part of the question, the possibility of retrofit, our team study every specific case, every specific project in its own matter. And when retrofit is more efficient, they do go through retrofit. When installation is more required and is needed, they go through the replacement. And in this case, replacement is the approach, particularly to bring more efficiency, energy efficiency, which is related to your first part of the question. And as I mentioned in my description, what we are installing here is what is known in the industry as a variable air volume air conditioning system. So this is one of the most efficient system in energy utilization because it controls space to space, like classroom to classroom, area to area, and it provides exactly what is needed in an area rather than providing a holistic air condition in a larger area, which might end up in some waste of energy. So to summarize, the installation of that new system, air volume air conditioning system, will result in reducing energy consumption in that building.
But the polluting aspect, are you relying on fossil fuel or one of the diesel energy sources, etc., or is there any chance it's going electric, perhaps?
At Queens College right now, it's a gas burning boiler. We're not replacing the source. Like this project is dealing with the end of the line, if I may say, like the equipment that distributes the heated or the environmentally air to the airspaces, but the source of the heat and the air conditioning, which is the boilers, for example, in this case, we are not, it is not being touched as part of this project, but the boilers in Queens College has been
This is
upgraded.
Lehman, I thought. You
Sorry,
said
Lehman,
it
yeah, I'm
was
sorry. I'm sorry, I keep saying
Okay.
Queens College. I apologize.
That's later on the agenda, I believe.
Yeah, so Lehman College, yeah, we're not touching the boiler. It's still gas. The whole issue of electrification is in our long-term energy management plan, which we are happy at certain point. We did provide to the CUCF board a presentation on our long-term energy management plan a couple of years ago. We have now developed and concluded another long-term energy management plan. We're happy to present it and bring it to future CCF boards when it's finalized. Electrification is a significant part of it, but it depends to a large extent to go parallel, hand in hand with what's happening at the state level, because it depends on the grid and what's coming to the grid. So we need to be cautious as we proceed with this process. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further questions? Okay, I'm going to ask for a vote on this. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any,
Aye.
any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Item 3 is a resolution to authorize construction for the Cancer Center and Chemistry Lab renovations at Brooklyn College, number 2473. I now call on Executive Director Mohammed Atalia to provide further background on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Cancer Center and Chemistry Lab renovations project at Brooklyn College will modernize essential research and instructional laboratories, ensuring that these spaces meet contemporary scientific and educational standards. The project will upgrade critical building systems to enhance operational reliability, address current environmental and life safety requirements, and create facilities that better support the university's academic programs and growing research enterprise. The completed renovation will bring about 7,000 square feet into a state of good repair, and through these improvements, Brooklyn College will strengthen its capacity to foster innovative scientific discovery, provide high-quality student training, and advance its overall institutional mission. The scope includes upgrades to portions of the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire protection, and audiovisual systems, along with hazardous materials abatement and associated architectural improvements needed to support the renovated laboratories. Construction is anticipated to commence in June 2026 and be substantially completed by September 2027. CUCF will comply with and report on applicable MWE and SDVOB goals throughout design and construction. Thank you.
Thank you. I move the approval of item 3. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? Any discussion?
Yes,
Sure.
yeah. I support, obviously, the renovations to the Cancer Center. But earlier today, somebody sent me a clip of some folks at Brooklyn Borough Hall talking about the mold and the leaking, etc. At, among other colleges, Brooklyn College, which is why I mentioned mention that today. Do we provide, since Brooklyn College obviously has serious construction needs, and obviously we all support the request on the part of CUNY for the 500 or 600 million in capital needs. Are we doing anything to mitigate some of the mold and the other leakage? There were pictures of Brooklyn College on New York One. Or is this not part of the construction scope, so to speak? Is there another way that it's going to be attended to? But is this within our purview? That's really my question.
Yes, Senator. When events like this happens, our team takes the necessary step to respond to the leak or the mold growth and the inspection of such. Some of the responses based on the level and the source of the issue, we develop the appropriate response mechanism. In certain aspects, it needs some minor maintenance interference from the local campus maintenance staff to deal with the leak and deal with the source of the contaminant. In certain aspects, the CUCF team would develop a project either in emergency basis or otherwise to respond and deal with the issues. The issues that came to your attention, it has come to our attention, and our team is working to provide a very expedited response to deal with any issues that might be present.
Does this fall within our jurisdiction? In other words, at a previous meeting, I had asked the question of how things appear on our agenda, who decides, etc. And this is really, I think, a serious situation. This is we're dealing with these issues long term, where construction will start in a year, etc. But this is, I think, a more immediate concern, and that is the health conditions, or how the mold will affect health conditions of students and faculty, and anybody who enters the college, the facilities that have the mold. Do we deal with this directly, or is this just dealt with by CUNY Central, so to speak, or Brooklyn College?
Yes, as I mentioned, Senator, the CUCF and our team here is CUNY Central, and we, as I mentioned, we take the steps to respond to these issues in expedited fashion, and also in collaboration with the local campus in order to coordinate our efforts. And our team is working on those aspects, providing further investigation in order to see exactly the level and the location of contamination.
Yeah, but I mean, Mohammed, hi, this is Hector. Sorry, go ahead.
Please.
Oh, I was going to ask some additional. And let's unbundle this a little bit. This is Hector Batista. Hi, Senator, how are you?
How are you?
I think we need to add some sort of more clarity to this than just me. So the maintenance, the repairs is a local campus level, right? They have to address whatever issues are sort of happening at the campus level. When we have situations where we have emergencies, or we have some health and safety issues, right? Either they come up through the campus to us, or we hear about them. We, through Mohammed's team, we have emergency contracts that we deploy to the campuses to help them address the issues that is happening at the campus level. I think one of the things that we have done over the last couple of years, and we testify in front of your committee, Senator, is really to talk about this whole notion of the state of good repair. And we have allocated resources to really focus in on the state of good repair, to really begin to address all these systems and challenges and so forth. When it comes to mold is not a regulated kind of a thing, right? As you know, right? Mold is not regulated. And just because somebody sees a spot doesn't mean necessarily it's mold. When we hear about mold, we work with our environmental unit to send either engineers or whatever to examine whether mold is there or not, and if not, address whatever leak or concern. Because as you know, a leak happens, and if you don't address it, that then turns to something else, and the mildew and mold and blah 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 blah. With regards to the Brooklyn College, we found out about it in some ways the same way you did. It wasn't bubbled up to us, but we are now in it trying to provide the support to address that. I mean, obviously, as you stated, and we are extremely supportive of, we want to make sure that the health and safety of our staff, employees, and students is at the forefront, and we at the central office will provide whatever support we need to do to address whatever concerns has happened at the campus. So hopefully that added a little bit more clarity. I mean, I think that one of the things that I would ask Mohammed to probably do is do a report of some of the things that we've been doing across the university. We've done a lot, and how we're addressing this whole notion of state of good repair. And the last thing I would say is that, as you know, because you've been at the forefront trying to be helpful, and so is Assemblyman Seabright, is our need is we need about $6.6 billion on the capital. We get about 1.3 or 4 billion on a 5-year plan. So the need is sees what we get. No, we've been very lucky under Governor Hochul. We've done better than we did under other governors. I mean, last year was record the amount of money that we got in terms of the capital side. And frankly, some of the work that Mohammed has done and working with, I know one of your favorite agencies, DASNY, we're actually holding them more accountable to really try to, we had a record amount of projects that we have completed this last year. I think, Mohammed, what's the number? 580 million? What was the number?
Yeah, it was 555 million that were spent. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think this is all part of the strategy to try to address, but we're trying to deal with those systems that are about to go, like what happened at Bronx Community College, where we lost the boiler, right? So now Mohammed we've done a facility assessment, so we know when systems are gonna kind of, go offline. So we try to address those a lot easier. So it's a larger explanation, but I think it's all part of the narratives.
I think it's an.
I just respond because that is the reason you finished the circle, so to speak, of why I brought up the issue, to highlight the need for additional capital money for both SUNY also, but for CUNY, to prevent these kinds of situations from happening. And that is the reason I brought it up, so that we hopefully will spotlight the need for critical maintenance and infrastructure repairs, etc., as the state budget is being negotiated.
Yep.
Is there a master document of everything that is broken that we know of today that needs to get repaired? And can that be shared with this committee?
There is not a master document that says what's broken and repaired. I don't think we keep it that way. I think what we look at is systems, right? We've done an analysis of what systems could potentially go offline, the lifeline and stuff like that. That we have, right?
Right. That I remember. Sorry to interrupt. I remember because I remember in past meetings we talked about that, and I thought that was important. I think the story in New York 1 is really serious. I think it's embarrassing to the university. I think given the enormous amount of work that you all have done with very little resources to upgrade the buildings and an enormous and complicated campus, is sort of getting sidelined because of this story. And for me, it's confusing that, you know, you'd get a borough president, you get elected officials, the PSC at a press conference, and that none of them brought this to CUNY officials to raise the issues. Because in my experience, people don't have a press conference about issues unless they've tried to address them and they haven't gotten done. So any of the things that were brought up at yesterday's event that was covered on New York One, was any of that brought to anybody at CUNY Central or to the Brooklyn campus or to any of the campus administrations?
I can't speak on behalf of the campus. It was definitely not brought up to our attention.
And so then do you think that we should be thinking about systems or new systems, whereas when campuses realize that there are these informations, that they are required to let you know, your offices know that these things are there so we can be tracking them?
You know, I think that's a great point. I mean, Alan, I would say this to you that unfortunately we navigate with a union that this is what they like to do, right? You know, I think sometimes through, you know, I look, I would say this to all of you: we're not perfect. We're far from it, right? You know, we try to do what we can with the amount of resources that we have, but the reality is that by working together, we could accomplish a lot more. But you know, the 1 minute of headline, what is that doing for anybody, right? Let us know. Let's work together and try to come up with how we could address some of it, right? Help us, you know, get more resources. You know, do that. But you know, frankly, it is what it is. You know, it's unfortunate. It's a bad narrative, but the reality is those things are not being brought to our attention. I mean, I would say this: I meet with I personally meet with the president of the union we have these labor management meetings. I wasn't raised. We just had one. That wasn't raised with us. It was a perfect meeting.
Right. I was just wondering whether or not the director of operations or campus facilities on each of the campuses are required to keep some sort of document that details the issues that they are seeing in the facilities, and is there a university-wide meeting where those issues get discussed and then prioritized for fixing? These things get on the agenda because somehow they've been prioritized. So there are clearly other issues going on in the campus, and I think what the senator and myself are trying to understand is, how do we make the decisions about what we're prioritizing to get fixed? And is there some meeting? So I know at the High Line, the different departments get together and have a meeting once a month to discuss some of the critical repairs that we need to make on the structure. And some people are seeing it from different angles, but we have a sense, and then we have to prioritize with limited resources what we think is tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. I think you all have done a masterful job in trying to understand the systems like HVAC, boilers, etc., that may end its useful life, and trying to prepare for those in advance and making sure the capital's there. But for the other pieces, right, that are showing up in classrooms and other places, I'm just wondering whether or not there should be some process by which the head of campus facilities for all of the CUNY campuses individually are getting together, or have some ability to present to your offices, here's what we're seeing right now, so that there is a central location where it's being kept, and that this group or another, right, the staff can come and say, here's how we're tiering these issues. These aren't about HVACs or big construction projects, but there are these other issues that we have to address. And I think we're just trying to wrap our head around it, because I got questions after the article, after the story came out, and was embarrassed, frankly, that I didn't have the answer to the questions.
I think your points are well taken. I mean, I would say that I would unbundle that a little bit, and I think that on one hand we have, you know, systems that, you know, are important in order to keep the, you know, some of these buildings. I mean, also keep in mind, 60% of our buildings are over, you know, 50 year plus or 100 years plus, right? So you got that sort of happening, right? We have deferred maintenance has been a thing. I mean, we, under the Cuomo administration, we got shellacked. I mean, we weren't getting the amount of money. Then it's complicated at the community college when we have to get 50% match from the cities and 50% match from the state. The last two administrations, there would be a press conference where they will announce
Yep.
CUNY got $100 million, and then 3 weeks later, we would get a phone call from the Office of Management and Budget that said, we're gonna move 70 million to 2035. So that doesn't help in terms of dealing. So this is a narrative that's been going on for a long, long time. I think your point is well taken.
City council, not the state.
The city council,
Yeah.
say correct, city council, right? So that's on the community college. And I think that your point is well taken. I do believe that Mohammed and his team, Mohammed could jump in, and his team do work with the campuses to try to get ahead of some of this stuff.
Yeah.
I will get together with Mohammed and take your comments and come back to you with some thoughts.
Can we add this to the agenda for the next meeting, please? Can it be the first item after the minutes for the next meeting, an update on this particular section at the next CUNY Construction Fund meeting?
Yeah, a progress report. And perhaps you could tie it together with the 5-year plan that I know you have.
We'll do our best.
Yeah, we can.
So I joined.
I joined today because I figured you guys were gonna have some concerns, and I had another meeting. I got off of that one because I joined her, and then I went back to this one, out of respect for all of you.
And by the way, again, you have the most complicated jobs because you have aging infrastructure, multiple campuses, and multiple cultures on those campuses, and how things get done. So we appreciate the work that's taking place. I think, though, as members of the fund, we need to be more facile with how these decisions and priorities are being made.
So-
I've been asking this question in a sense for a while, and I certainly appreciate Alan making those comments, because I think you're right on target.
Thanks, Senator.
Yeah, we for sure we could provide that, and as we mentioned on the high level from a capital expenditures, we have spent a significant amount of effort for analyzing the condition assessment of the buildings and the building systems, and this is where and how we do prioritize replacement of those systems and investing these capital dollars that we bring to the committee. The day-to-day maintenance, as Hector alluded, is the facilities, campuses, skilled trades, deal with those aspects. Another major strategic initiative that Hector and I is working on is the development of facilities maintenance shared services. And this is with the conclusion and the establishment of the model. We'll be able to have the institution-wide visual on the maintenance aspects and the regulated day-to-day minor small maintenance, which mostly becomes the grassroots for those reported aspects. Yeah, thank you.
So I along those lines, the report that you're gonna get, Senator Allen and Assemblywoman, is a report on this.
Hector, can I get the report too?
Yeah, of course.
I know you didn't, I just want to make sure.
It's fine. You're gonna get a presentation. There's no report, right? We're gonna get a presentation on shared services and what we're doing. So you'll be on the committee. You listen. We'll present to you this new initiative that we're, centralizing sort of the facilities. Except for buildings and grounds, the central office is going to run all the trades, and we're going to be able to, have these hubs where we're going to be able to not only address day-to-day maintenance, but also address emergencies. And we're in the process. We're building a whole infrastructure around it. There are going to be 4 hubs. They're going to cover different colleges and vans and trades. And so we've been working on this for over a year and a half, right?
Correct. Yes, Hector. Yeah.
And so we're happy to present that to you. I think that's the report that you're going to get. It's not a written report. Nicholas, we'll get a presentation. They'll let you know what we're doing.
Good.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
not
that should
just
address your
that.
concerns.
There has to be a plan for action, as well.
Once we implement the whole system, then there will be a plan. But right now, we need to move all the 700 plus trades into these different hubs, and we're meeting with unions, and it's been very complicated. It's not, it's been a very complicated process, making sure that we, unions felt like they needed to bargain, so we're meeting with them and making sure that their work conditions is not changing and, all that. So we've been working through all those very complicated things. And now we're getting to the finish line.
We want to be sure, frankly, that conditions in the buildings are safe for the people to come in and do the work.
We have the same concerns, Senator. We share the same values on that.
Any further comments?
I'm gonna jump off. Good to see everybody.
Thank you. Okay. I'm going to ask for a vote on this, please. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. Okay, I now move on to item 4. Item 4 is a resolution to authorize construction for Roosevelt Hall renovation and HVAC upgrades at Brooklyn College, number 2474. I now call on Executive Director Mohammed Atalia to provide further background on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Roosevelt Hall renovation and HVAC upgrades project will modernize a wide range of spaces, including instructional areas, locker rooms, restrooms, and multi-purpose room. The scope includes replacement of interior finishes along with upgrades to critical building systems, including HVAC distribution, air handling units, and plumbing infrastructure. This project will also increase conditioned air to areas that currently rely on window units or have no cooling, while incorporating ADA compliance improvements in select locations. Upon completion, the project is expected to decrease deferred maintenance from roughly $55 million to about $25 million. And in addition, the building of state of good repair is projected to increase from approximately 12% to about 40%. Construction is anticipated to commence in June 2026 with an estimated substantial completion date of December 2027. CUCF will comply with and report on the applicable MWBE and SDVOB goals. Thank you.
Thank you. I move the approval of item 4. Do I have a second? Thank you.
Second.
Any questions, discussion, please? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to move to a vote. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. Item 5 is a resolution to authorize construction for a parking garage reconstruction at Queens College, number 2475. I now call on Executive Director Mohammed Atalia to provide further background on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The parking garage reconstruction project is an active campus parking facility that supports daily academic and administrative operations. This project focuses on reinforcing the structural columns and restoring the overall structural integrity of the parking garage. The work also includes upgrades to site utilities, including electrical and plumbing systems to support increased capacity and improved performance. The renovation of these infrastructure systems would bring the entire parking garage into a state of good repair and restore safe, reliable, and code-compliant operation of the parking facility. Construction is anticipated to commence in June 2026 with substantial completion by April 2027. The program management agreement requires DASNY to comply with and report on the applicable MWBE and SDVOB goals. Thank you.
Okay, I move the approval of item 5. Do I have a second? Thank you. Is there any discussion or questions or comments, Senator?
Yeah, I have a real quick question.
Sure.
Is this the parking garage near the athletic fields?
That is correct, Senator.
Does the city of New York do any kind of inspection of the facility? I'm just curious, because I have visions of, is it in a dangerous situation where it can't be used at the present time? Because obviously, it's a multi-story facility.
Yes, it is a structure. It's a concrete structure, and
I know, I parked it, that's how I know it.
yes, that's right. And we do. I mean, the facilities team at Queens and our CUCF, our own engineers, and also our consultants performed this kind of inspection and have monitored and observed those deteriorated condition. And this is why we're proceeding with the project.
Good. Yeah, no, I was just concerned for the immediate safety of people who use it.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you, sir.
Thank you.
Any further questions
Or
or
it's
comments?
safe for the time being. I gather it's safe for the time being.
Yes, it's being used to its extent. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, I'm going to call for a vote. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Reports of the chair. The next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, May 28th at 2 p.m. Now, just to be clear, we just want to make sure the presentation's ready that addresses the trustees' concerns regarding maintenance and everything for that meeting, please. All right, I just want that part of the record. With no more items on the.
Can I raise one question?
Sure,
Can I
absolutely.
raise one question about that date?
Yeah.
I suspect that will be an Albany day.
Well,
Okay,
you said Tuesday, but it's actually Thursday.
You said Thursday.
Oh, Thursday.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Would you like us
Because
to
we are
postpone
going
it?
into 4-day weeks at least.
Okay, Senator, would you prefer?
Why don't we just check it out, or I will talk to Courtney or somebody in my office. We'll give her the projections for the end of session, because session is expected to end on June, I think it's June 6th, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so Courtney, let's work it around the
June 4th.
legislative session.
Something like that, yeah.
So we
I
can get,
don't have it in front of me, but that may be a problem.
It
okay,
is a session day.
Yeah, it's a session day.
okay, so let's work it around the convenience.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. So it's gonna be an open day. We'll be notified once we get it, a projected date.
And I would also just look to make sure that the team is able to provide the answers prior to scheduling the meeting.
Right.
Because I don't want to walk into a meeting and us not have the answers to the questions that we've been asking.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, and I believe, Trustee Cavalli, there will be also other items. For sure, we will make sure to get that, but the agenda will have other projects as well that we would bring to the committee. Projects similar to the projects we're bringing now for approval that needs to proceed.
Okay, let's make this, though, item number 1.
Yeah.
And the priority, please.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns before we adjourn?
The other
Yes.
problem with that date, incidentally, is that since we're subject to the open meetings law, we have to have a facility available to us for somebody who wants to come observe the meeting. And if we're in the car on the thruway, it's not possible.
Senator, you're always welcome in room 139 on the first floor here with me if you're available.
In the Capitol?
Yep.
Oh.
You too, Assembly Member. So.
Okay, because my office is on the fourth floor of the Capitol. I did not know that. Thank you.
Well, that's convenient.
Yep, it sure is.
Okay, good. Anything else? Okay. I make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye,
Thank you, everybody, for your time.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.